Hello everyone, my name is Andrea and I'm excited to talk about today's topic. Are you irreplaceable? What do I mean by that? When you walk into a room, do people speak, shudder, smile, lighten up? When you walk into your workplace, are you the go-to person that makes everything happen and add more value to your company than the one that they're looking and excited for every time you walk into the conference room and waiting to hear your ideas? Are you the individual in your family that is excited to be around, approachable, and always ready to help, guide, and give support anywhere possible? Amongst strangers, when you walk into a room, are all eyes on you? Ask yourself these questions, because if you answered yes to any of these questions, then you are irreplaceable. Throughout my journey in life, I made sure that my name was branded of a good meaning. What do I mean by that? That no matter what, even the naysayers or the people that didn't believe in me really couldn't have a lot of weight behind their thoughts and actions for what they didn't like. If anything, they didn't like that I asked a lot of questions. If anything, they didn't like my work ethic of being that, thinking outside of the box, being innovative, being creative, and always coming up with new ideas. Make sure that you leave your mark everywhere you go. This is important because a lot of people in this day and age are just punching a clock in and out and making sure that they're not getting in trouble, doing the bare minimum at their jobs, and just kind of flying by the wayside. That's not what I'm about. My parents always taught me to do what I love and do it with passion and do my best. And that is a motto that I've always followed my entire life. And I always worked with integrity. So if I made a mistake, I would not fall short to admit when I was wrong. And if I couldn't find an answer or was unable to resolve a solution or a problem, I would ask for help. I would ask for guidance. And I would admit that there was only certain information that I knew and others that I didn't know. This was very powerful for me because I wasn't afraid to ask questions. You know, they always say when you're younger, ask a lot of questions so you have a better understanding until you get it to a certain age, and then everybody doesn't want you to ask questions. They just kind of push you by the wayside and say, no, it's okay, you know, maybe another time we'll explore that area. Why aren't we asking questions? Why aren't we investigating more? And why aren't we doing our due diligence and research to understand the facts behind any of the influences that are given to us? Many times we take things for face value and accept it for the way they are. And the phrase that really irks me a lot is, it is what it is. That's not the case. It doesn't have to be that way. And if you want answers, then you make the effort and use your energy to find those answers. Because 9 times out of 10, you may agree or disagree with the result and explore more options available to you. I remember I was hired for a position that I was so grateful to have been awarded. And it met all my expectations from A to Z. However, there was some areas that I wasn't savvy in, and it kind of affected the way I did my work. And I had explained this and addressed this to my higher-ups that this is my expectations upon hire, and this is what you hired me for, knowing my limitations and knowing my successes and strengths. So when push comes to shove, I actually went to the top of the industry and introduced myself and said, this is the position that I was hired for, and this is what my credentials and expectations were at the time. Now, I have some rules and obligations that I have to uphold and responsibilities that I have to take care of. However, I'm not educated or experienced in this area. Would you mind helping me out? Now, To my surprise, my employer was very shocked and impressed that I actually was bold enough and brave enough to go to the higher up and disclose this situation of my weaknesses, areas that I needed improvement, areas that I weren't strong in. However, on the other side of the coin, the individual I had spoken with had given me great praise and was admirable of my bravery, transparency, honesty, and integrity, and passion to do the right thing, knowing that my expectations and my education had brought me to only so far. So I ask you, what is your brand in life? And are you replaceable? I've had several careers over, the time, and I have over 2 decades in the mental health, wellness, holistic, medical, and motivational fields. So I know what it is like. I understand what people are looking for. I understand how to effectively communicate with one another. And I understand what it's like to be vulnerable and to ask questions. But what I don't understand is through the trials and tribulations that I've experienced over time, because nobody is perfect, we all experience them, is that people only go to a certain extent for a certain reason. And that really struck a chord with me, knowing that people are just there for a paycheck. People are just there to receive income. People are just there to punch the clock, to kind of bide time until they reunite with their families, spouses, or friends. Now, I'm not going to lie and say that I wasn't like that at a period of time. Sure, I would watch the clock until 4 or 5 o'clock when my shift was over and couldn't wait to go home, either to relax, to sleep, to binge watch TV. But my mindset has changed over the years. And I make sure that I do my due diligence in every task that I am required to do. Any request or ability that I can help an individual out, I will make sure that the task is completed to the best of service for them, and that it is my best work and best line of work, because my name is attached to it. When your name is attached to something, that means the world. That's a reflection of who you are, what you are about, and how you service the world. And that's really an area that I'm growing in as I am, working with my business as an entrepreneur. I am making sure that every ounce and every I is dotted and every T is crossed. But no stone is never unturned to make sure that somebody is getting the best service, the best treatment, and being heard and being listened to. Are you irreplaceable? I've worked in positions where I was only expected to do a certain amount. But because I wanted to further my personal development as well as my professional growth, I would go above and beyond. And I would get some, eyes from people. Why are you working so hard? You're salary based. And it wasn't about that. It was about learning the trade or the industry that I was in, and making sure that the recipients receiving any type of service that I could provide was receiving the best of care. When you work on that level, it no longer becomes work. It becomes a process of engagement. It becomes a process of understanding, a process of learning, and a process of professionally and personally developing not only yourself, but your skills and your tools that were given to you. I make sure that I align my morals, values, and ethics with every connection that I make. And if we're not a match, that's okay. No harm, no foul. We agree to disagree and move on. Everybody's not a match in this world. But the ones that do match up with you and you have a chemistry with and a relationship and an understanding with, those are the most valuable. I can honestly say, for the most part, any area that or industry that have worked in was always without burned bridges. I can pick up the phone and talk to any former employer and speak with them civilly and on a positive basis. Sure, misinterpretations and misunderstandings have occurred over the years, which is fine. We're human. Not everybody gets along. Not everybody understands your goal or your mission or your why, but that's okay. But everybody that I've worked with, had a friendship or familialship, knows with me, what you see is what you get. My word is my bond. I pay it forward, and I always act with integrity. My challenge for you today is to look deep down inside in your reflection of the mirror and ask yourself, can you be replaced, or are you irreplaceable? Make sure all that you do is with passion and integrity and authenticity. Because I promise you, there's no one out there like you. Press play in this game of life. Plan life according to you. And do what you love. Do your best. And always do it with passion. My name is Andrea. I thank you for watching. I thank you for listening. Make sure you share, like, and subscribe. Turn that notification bell on for further content and information. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Be well.